Look at this map. One nation dominates global trade routes, military alliances, and financial systems. Its military presence stretches across nearly every continent. Its currency underpins the global economy. Yet just over 2 centuries ago, this country did not even exist. So how did a group of fragile colonies on the edge of the Atlantic transform into the most powerful nation in modern history? How did the United States rise from colonial dependence to global dominance? The story of the United States begins with a revolutionary idea. At a time when absolute monarchies ruled much of the world, the American colonies challenged the very foundation of imperial authority. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence did more than sever political ties with Britain. It introduced radical principles: individual liberty, popular sovereignty, and inalienable rights. But independence was only the beginning. The newly formed nation faced immense challenges. It needed to build a functioning government, secure its sovereignty, and survive in a hostile international environment. These early struggles forged a political culture defined by resilience, ambition, and expansion. During the 19th century, the United States embarked on one of the most dramatic territorial expansions in history. Driven by the ideology of manifest destiny, America pushed relentlessly westward, from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific Ocean. This expansion was not merely about land, it was about power, resources, and strategic positioning. As the nation expanded, it gained access to vast reserves of coal, oil, fertile farmland, and mineral wealth. These resources would become the backbone of future economic growth. But this expansion came at a devastating cost. Indigenous populations were forcibly removed from their lands, and violent territorial conflicts reshaped the continent. The scars of this period remain embedded in American history. Despite its dark consequences, the new territorial framework created a unified continental economy. Railroads connected distant regions. Trade networks expanded. America was no longer a cluster of former colonies. It was becoming a continental power. That transformation was tested by its greatest internal crisis, the Civil War. This conflict threatened to tear the nation apart, yet its outcome preserved national unity and abolished slavery. The war fundamentally reshaped America's moral, political, and economic foundations. By the late 19th century, the United States had emerged from the Civil War stronger and more centralized. It was no longer a loose federation of states. It was a single, cohesive power poised for global influence. At the same time, America entered a period of rapid industrialization. Between 1870 and 1900, technological innovation and resource exploitation propelled the U.S. into the world's leading industrial economy. Factories multiplied, cities expanded, infrastructure transformed the landscape. Steel became the backbone of this transformation. It fueled railroads, bridges, skyscrapers, and modern cities. Oil and coal-powered factories and transportation networks. Energy became the lifeblood of American industry. This era was shaped by powerful industrial figures. John D. Rockefeller dominated the oil industry. J.P. Morgan consolidated the banking and financial system. These so-called robber barons accumulated immense wealth while reshaping the structure of American capitalism. Another crucial force was mass immigration. Millions of Europeans crossed the Atlantic seeking opportunity. They formed the backbone of the industrial workforce. They built cities, operated factories, and laid the foundations of America's urban society. This rapid growth brought unprecedented prosperity, but also severe challenges. Overcrowded cities, poor working conditions, and social inequality became widespread. Yet innovation continued. Electricity, telephones, and mass production transformed daily life. By 1900, the United States had surpassed all rivals economically. It possessed a massive domestic market, advanced technology, and unparalleled natural resources. America was ready to step onto the global stage. When World War I erupted in Europe, the United States initially chose neutrality. Under President Woodrow Wilson, America focused on domestic development and avoided foreign entanglements. But neutrality proved impossible in an interconnected world. American factories supplied vast quantities of goods to Britain and France. Economic ties bound the U.S. to the Allied cause. Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare directly threatened American interests. In April 1917, the United States declared war on Germany. Millions of American troops crossed the Atlantic. Their arrival shifted the balance of power. Exhausted European armies were reinforced by fresh manpower, resources, and industrial strength. The war ended in 1918 with America playing a decisive role. After the war, the United States emerged as a key architect of the new international order. President Wilson proposed the ambitious 14 points, aiming to prevent future global conflicts. While many ideas failed to materialize, the League of Nations was established, laying groundwork for future international cooperation. World War I marked America's full emergence as a global power. Although the nation later returned to isolationism, its economic and cultural influence continued to expand. The 1920s brought rapid growth and widespread optimism. This period, known as the Roaring Twenties, was defined by mass consumption and technological progress. But beneath the surface, the financial system was dangerously unstable. In 1929, the New York stock market crashed. The illusion of prosperity collapsed overnight. The Great Depression devastated the American economy and sent shockwaves around the world. Businesses failed. Banks closed. Millions lost their jobs. Public anger grew as President Hoover struggled to respond. In 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt assumed office, promising a New Deal. His reforms expanded government intervention, stabilized the financial system, and launched massive infrastructure projects. Programs like the Hoover Dam created jobs and modernized the nation. Social security systems provided a new safety net. This crisis forced America to reassess its role in global affairs. As authoritarian regimes rose in Europe and Asia, Americans increasingly recognized that isolation could no longer guarantee security. World War II soon engulfed the world once again. Initially neutral, the United States supported Allied powers through the Lend-Lease program. That neutrality ended on December 7, 1941, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. America entered the war with full force. Its economy was mobilized on an unprecedented scale. Factories produced weapons, ships, and aircraft in staggering numbers. Millions enlisted in the armed forces. In the Pacific, the Battle of Midway in 1942 turned the tide against Japan. In Europe, the D-Day landings of 1944 marked the beginning of Nazi Germany's collapse. In 1945, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki forced Japan's surrender. World War II transformed the United States into the world's dominant military and economic power. It became a central architect of the post-war global system. Institutions like the United Nations, the IMF, and the World Bank were established with American leadership. Yet new tensions quickly emerged. The world divided into two opposing blocs, one led by the United States, the other by the Soviet Union. This was the Cold War. This conflict was not fought through direct confrontation. It unfolded through proxy wars, ideological competition, and technological rivalry. America responded with strategies like the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan, strengthening allies and rebuilding Europe. Military alliances such as NATO reinforced American influence. Technological competition intensified. The space race became a symbol of this rivalry. After the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, America answered with the Apollo program, demonstrating its technological ambition. The 1980s marked a decisive phase. Under President Reagan, intensified pressure and internal weaknesses contributed to the Soviet Union's collapse. With the Cold War's end, the United States emerged as the world's sole superpower. In the decades that followed, America led a technological revolution. Silicon Valley became the epicenter of global innovation. Companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Facebook reshaped economies and societies worldwide. Today, the United States remains a central force in global affairs. Its economy exceeds $25 trillion. The dollar functions as the world's primary reserve currency. Its military maintains hundreds of bases across the globe, supported by advanced technologies such as drones and artificial intelligence. America's journey, from colonies to global superpower, is unlike any other in history. And even as new challenges emerge, its influence continues to shape the world.